Kobbie Mainoo January exit drama. The truth behind United's rising stars ultimatum. Welcome to Unite United News, your only trusted source for the real story behind every Manchester United headline. While other outlets rush to publish half-truths and sensational stories, we dig deep to bring you the facts that actually matter to Red Devils fans. We know you come here because you want the complete picture, not just clickbait headlines that leave you with more questions than answers. Today, we need to talk about one of the most concerning stories to emerge from Old Trafford in recent months. Kobbie Mainoo, the young midfielder who captured hearts with his breakthrough performances just 18 months ago, has reportedly delivered a stark ultimatum to Manchester United. Play me regularly or let me leave in January. But how did we get here? How did a player who scored in the FA Cup final and became a regular for England suddenly find himself on the outside looking in? And what does this mean for both Mainoo and Manchester United moving forward? The rise and sudden fall of Kobbie Mainoo. To understand the current situation, we need to go back to where it all started for Kobbie Mainoo at Manchester United. Just 18 months ago, most football fans had never heard of this young midfielder from United's academy. Today, he is an England international who has played in major tournaments and scored crucial goals for both club and country. Mainoo's rise was nothing short of spectacular. Under Erik ten Hag, the young midfielder burst onto the scene with performances that showed maturity far beyond his years. He was not just another promising academy graduate getting a few minutes here and there. He was a genuine first-team player who could handle the pressure of playing for Manchester United. The FA Cup final goal against Manchester City was the moment that truly announced Mainoo to the world. Scoring the winning goal in such a huge game takes incredible composure and skill. It showed that Mainoo had the mental strength to perform when it mattered most. His performances for United earned him a call-up to the England squad, and he quickly became a regular under Gareth Southgate. Playing for your country at such a young age is a huge achievement, and it seemed like Mainoo was destined for a brilliant career at Old Trafford. But football can change very quickly. When Ruben Amorim replaced Erik ten Hag as United manager, everything changed for Mainoo. The Portuguese coach brought with him a completely different tactical system and different ideas about how the game should be played. Suddenly, the player who had been so important under ten Hag found himself struggling to fit into Amorim's plans. The 3-4-2-1 formation that Amorim prefers does not seem to suit Mainoo's style of play, and the young midfielder has found opportunities harder and harder to come by. Why Amorim's system does not suit Mainoo. Understanding why Mainoo has struggled under Amorim requires looking at the tactical differences between the two managers and how they use their midfield players. Under Erik ten Hag, Mainoo was given the freedom to be a box-to-box midfielder who could contribute both defensively and offensively. Ten Hag's system allowed Mainoo to show his range of passing, his ability to drive forward with the ball, and his knack for arriving in the penalty area at the right moment. Amorim's 3-4-2-1 system is much more structured and requires players to stick to very specific roles. The midfield positions in this system have clear responsibilities, and there is less freedom for players to roam and express themselves. According to Amorim himself, Mainoo is now competing directly with Bruno Fernandes for a position in the team. This is a huge problem for the young midfielder because Fernandes is the club captain and one of United's most important players. It is very unlikely that Fernandes will be dropped to make room for Mainoo. The tactical requirements of Amorim's system also seem to favor different types of players than Mainoo. Where ten Hag valued Mainoo's creativity and forward-thinking play, Amorim seems to prefer players who are more disciplined tactically and stick to their assigned roles. This mismatch between Mainoo's natural game and what Amorim wants from his midfielders has created a difficult situation for everyone involved. Mainoo feels frustrated because he is not getting the chances to show what he can do. Amorim feels that Mainoo needs to adapt to his system rather than the system adapting to accommodate Mainoo. The numbers tell the story. Sometimes the best way to understand a situation is to look at the hard facts and figures. The statistics around Mainoo's playing time under Amorim paint a clear picture of how dramatically his situation has changed. In the 30 Premier League matches that Amorim has been in charge of Manchester United, Mainoo has only started 12 games. That means he has been on the bench or not in the squad for 18 Premier League matches. For a player who was previously a regular starter, this represents a massive drop in status. To put this in perspective, under Ten Hag, Mainoo was starting most games when he was fit and available. He was seen as one of the first names on the team sheet and a crucial part of United's midfield setup. The contrast could not be more stark. From being an automatic starter to struggling to get into the starting 11 at all represents one of the most dramatic falls from grace we have seen at United in recent years. Even more concerning for Mainoo is that his lack of club football is starting to affect his international career. He was not included in Thomas Tuchel's most recent England squad, which will have been a huge wake-up call for the young midfielder. For any player, but especially for someone as young and ambitious as Mainoo, losing your place in the national team setup is devastating. It represents not just a loss of prestige but also a potential loss of future opportunities. The Napoli move that almost happened. One of the most revealing parts of this whole story is the details that have emerged about Mainoo's attempted summer exit. According to reliable reports, a move to Napoli was not just discussed but was actually fully agreed between all parties. The move would have seen Mainoo reunite with his former United teammate Scott McTominay, who joined Napoli earlier in the summer. The Italian club had also signed Kevin De Bruyne, which would have created an intriguing midfield combination. For Mainoo, the appeal of this move was obvious. He would have been guaranteed regular playing time at a club competing in Serie A and European competitions. He would have been able to continue his development in a system that better suited his playing style. The fact that Napoli were willing to take Mainoo on loan suggests that other clubs still rate him highly despite his struggles at United. Serie A is one of the top leagues in world football, and Napoli are one of the biggest clubs in Italy. However, Manchester United blocked the move at the last minute. The club decided that they did not want to lose Mainoo, even temporarily, despite his lack of playing time. This decision has clearly frustrated the player and his representatives. The blocking of this move has also created a difficult situation for January. If Mainoo's playing time does not improve significantly before the winter transfer window, he will almost certainly push for the Napoli move to be revived. What Mainoo's representatives are thinking. Understanding this situation also requires looking at it from the perspective of Mainoo's representatives and what they want for their client's career. Mainoo is currently earning around £30,000 per week at United, which makes him one of the lower earners at the club. For a player who has been a regular for both club and country, this salary probably does not reflect his true value in the current market. His representatives will be looking at other young players who have secured much better contracts after breaking through at big clubs. They will want Mainoo to be rewarded financially for his contributions to the team and his potential for the future. But more important than money is playing time. Mainoo is at a crucial stage of his career where regular football is essential for his development. At 20 years old, he cannot afford to spend months on the bench without it affecting his long-term prospects. His representatives will also be concerned about the impact on his England career. The 2026 World Cup is less than 2 years away, and Mainoo will want to be part of that squad. To have any chance of being selected, he needs to be playing regular club football at the highest level. From their perspective, United's decision to block the summer move while not guaranteeing more playing time creates an untenable situation. They feel that the club is holding back their client's career development without offering a clear path to regular first-team football. How United view the situation. Manchester United's position on Mainoo is more complex than it might appear on the surface. While they blocked his summer exit, the club still sees him as an important part of their long-term plans. According to sources close to the club, United believe that Mainoo has the talent and potential to become a key player under Amorim. They feel that the tactical adjustment period is temporary and that the young midfielder will eventually adapt to the new system. United are also reportedly open to offering Mainoo an improved contract if he can establish himself as a regular in Amorim's team. This suggests that they value him highly and want to keep him at the club for the long term. The club's stance seems to be that Mainoo needs to be patient and work harder to fit into Amorim's system rather than expecting the system to change to accommodate him. They believe that this challenge will ultimately make him a better and more complete player. United's management also knows that Mainoo is a valuable asset from a financial perspective. Academy graduates who become first-team regulars are worth significant amounts in the transfer market, and losing Mainoo for nothing would represent a major loss for the club. However, United's position becomes more difficult to maintain if Mainoo continues to struggle for playing time. The club cannot realistically expect a talented young player to remain happy sitting on the bench indefinitely. The January ultimatum explained. The ultimatum that Mainoo has reportedly given to United is simple but potentially damaging for both parties. He wants to see a significant increase in his playing time, or he wants to be allowed to leave in January. From Mainoo's perspective, this ultimatum makes perfect sense. He cannot continue to watch his career stagnate while he sits on the bench. He knows that other clubs want him and would give him the regular football that he craves. The January transfer window represents a perfect opportunity for Mainoo to move if his situation does not improve. Napoli are still interested, and there are likely to be other clubs who would welcome the chance to sign such a talented young midfielder. However, this ultimatum also creates problems for Manchester United. The club does not want to be seen to give in to player demands, especially from such a young player. Setting a precedent where players can force moves by delivering ultimatums could create problems with other members of the squad. United also have to consider the timing of any potential departure. Losing a squad player in January, when they are trying to build momentum for the second half of the season, is not ideal from a sporting perspective. The resolution of this situation will depend largely on how Amorim uses Mainoo in the coming weeks and months. If the manager can find a way to give him more opportunities, the problem might resolve itself naturally. What this means for Amorim. This situation with Mainoo also reflects on Ruben Amorim and his management of the squad since taking over at United. While managers always have to make difficult decisions about team selection, losing talented young players can damage their reputation. Amorim's handling of Mainoo will be watched closely by other young players at the club. If they see that even a player of Mainoo's caliber can be frozen out, it might make them think twice about their own futures at United. The Portuguese manager has to balance his tactical preferences with the need to keep his squad happy and motivated. If too many players become frustrated with their lack of opportunities, it can create a negative atmosphere that affects the whole team. Amorim's comments about Mainoo competing with Bruno Fernandes for a position also reveal something about his tactical inflexibility. While having high standards is important, the best managers find ways to accommodate their most talented players rather than forcing them into systems that do not suit them. The manager's reputation for developing young players could also be affected if Mainoo leaves and goes on to have a successful career elsewhere. It would raise questions about whether Amorim made the right decision in not finding a way to use such a promising talent. The bigger picture for United's academy. The Mainoo situation also has implications for Manchester United's academy and their strategy for developing young players. United have always prided themselves on bringing through talented youngsters and giving them opportunities in the first team. If Mainoo leaves and becomes successful elsewhere, it sends a concerning message to other academy graduates. They might start to think that they have a better chance of fulfilling their potential at other clubs rather than fighting for opportunities at United. This could affect United's ability to attract and retain the best young talent. Parents and players might look at how Mainoo was treated and decide that other clubs offer better pathways to first-team football. United's academy has produced some excellent players in recent years, but the club needs to show that these players have genuine opportunities to establish themselves in the first team. Otherwise, they risk losing their best prospects to clubs that will give them more chances. The financial implications are also significant. Academy graduates who become first-team regulars are extremely valuable assets. If United cannot find ways to integrate these players into the first team, they miss out on both their sporting contribution and their potential transfer value. What other clubs are watching? The availability of a player like Mainoo has certainly caught the attention of other clubs around Europe. A 20-year-old England international with experience at the highest level is exactly the type of player that many clubs would love to sign. Napoli's continued interest shows that top clubs believe Mainoo can be successful in their systems, even if he is struggling at United. Serie A could be an excellent environment for Mainoo to continue his development while playing regular football. Other Premier League clubs will also be monitoring the situation closely. A player of Mainoo's quality becoming available, even on loan, would be an attractive proposition for many teams. The interest from other clubs also strengthens Mainoo's negotiating position with United. He knows that he has options and does not need to accept a situation where he is not getting regular playing time. This external interest also puts pressure on Amorim and United to find a solution. If Mainoo leaves and becomes successful elsewhere, it will reflect badly on their handling of the situation. Potential solutions to the problem. While the situation appears difficult, there are several potential solutions that could benefit both Mainoo and Manchester United. The most obvious solution would be for Amorim to find a way to use Mainoo more regularly in his system. This might require some tactical flexibility from the manager, but it could solve the problem while keeping everyone happy. Another possibility would be for United to offer Mainoo a new contract with improved terms while committing to giving him more opportunities. This would show that the club values him while providing financial compensation for his patience. A loan move in January might also be beneficial for all parties. Mainoo would get the regular football he wants, while United would retain his registration and could benefit from his development elsewhere. United could also consider rotating their squad more frequently to give players like Mainoo more opportunities. With the demands of modern football, having a larger group of players who are ready to contribute can be beneficial. Whatever solution is chosen, it needs to be implemented quickly. The longer this situation drags on, the more difficult it becomes to resolve satisfactorily for everyone involved. The impact on United's season. This situation with Mainoo is not just about one player. It reflects broader issues with squad management and team harmony that could affect United's entire season. If talented players like Mainoo become frustrated and leave, it weakens the squad depth that United need to compete on multiple fronts. Losing quality players, even if they are not regular starters, makes it harder to cope with injuries and fixture congestion. The situation also creates uncertainty and potential unrest within the squad. Other players will be watching to see how United handle Mainoo's case, and it could influence their own decisions about their futures. From a fan perspective, losing a popular academy graduate who scored in the FA Cup final would be particularly disappointing. Mainoo represents the type of player that United supporters want to see succeed at the club. The financial implications of losing Mainoo would also be significant. United would miss out on any potential transfer fee while also losing an asset that they have invested time and money in developing. What United fans should think. As United fans, this situation with Mainoo raises some difficult questions about how the club is being run and whether the right decisions are being made about squad management. On one hand, fans want to see the club back successful and playing good football. If Amorim believes that his tactical system is the best way to achieve this, then perhaps some difficult decisions about individual players are necessary. On the other hand, losing talented young players who have shown they can perform at the highest level seems like poor management. Mainoo has proven himself as a capable Premier League and international player, so finding a way to use him should be a priority. The situation also raises questions about whether United are making the best use of their academy graduates. The club has always prided itself on developing young players, but this seems to be becoming more difficult in the modern game. Ultimately, United fans want to see both success on the pitch and the continued development of young talent. Finding ways to achieve both of these goals should be a priority for the club's management. Looking ahead to January. As we approach the January transfer window, the Mainoo situation is likely to become one of the biggest stories surrounding Manchester United. The resolution of this issue could have significant implications for both the player and the club. If Mainoo's playing time does not improve significantly in the coming weeks, it seems almost certain that he will push for a move in January. The Napoli option remains available, and other clubs are likely to express interest as well. United will have to decide whether they are willing to let Mainoo leave or whether they will make changes to accommodate him. This decision will say a lot about the club's priorities and their commitment to developing young talent. The timing of any potential move will also be crucial. United cannot afford to lose squad depth in January if they are still competing in multiple competitions and trying to improve their league position. Whatever happens, this situation needs to be resolved quickly and decisively. Allowing uncertainty to continue indefinitely helps nobody and could create bigger problems for the club. Final thoughts. A crossroads for club and player. The Kobbie Mainoo situation represents a crossroads for both the player and Manchester United. The decisions made in the coming weeks could determine not just Mainoo's future, but also set important precedents for how United handles similar situations in the future. For Mainoo, this is about more than just playing time. It is about his career development, his international prospects, and his long-term future in the game. At 20 years old, he cannot afford to waste time sitting on the bench when other opportunities are available. For United, this is about squad management, tactical flexibility, and their commitment to developing academy graduates. The club needs to find ways to keep talented young players happy while also pursuing their strategic objectives. At Unite United News, we believe that both parties need to show flexibility and find a solution that works for everyone. Mainoo is too talented to be wasted, and United need players of his quality if they want to return to the top level. The coming weeks will be crucial in determining how this story develops. We will continue to bring you all the latest updates and analysis as this situation unfolds, because we know that United fans deserve to know the real story behind the headlines. Whatever happens with Mainoo, it serves as a reminder that managing a squad full of talented players is one of the biggest challenges in modern football. Finding ways to keep everyone happy while still winning games is what separates the best managers from the rest. We hope that United and Mainoo can find a way to resolve this situation that benefits everyone involved. The club needs talented players like Mainoo, and Mainoo deserves the chance to fulfill his obvious potential at Old Trafford. Stay with Unite United News for all the latest developments on this story and everything else happening at Manchester United. We are here to bring you the truth, not just the headlines, because that is what you deserve as passionate Red Devils supporters.